In this video, we will discuss AutoCAD 3D commands and workspaces. If you'd like to follow along with this video, please open the file AutoCAD 3D commands and workspaces.dwg located in the Working Files folder as discussed in the Working with this dataset video. AutoCAD ships with predefined workspaces that help you use AutoCAD more effectively. To switch between workspaces, navigate to the workspace switching icon in the lower right corner of the AutoCAD window, and there are 3 workspaces that ship with AutoCAD. If you're not familiar with workspaces, simply put, a workspace is a stored configuration of interface components. It is recommended before working within AutoCAD to save a copy of the default workspaces. That way, should anything go wrong, you can always revert back to the default workspace. To do so, navigate to the Save Current As, and we'll go ahead and give this a name of, let's say, your initials dash drafting and annotation. You'll notice that now we are in this workspace. With regards to the 3D tools that are available within AutoCAD, if you're in the Drafting and Annotation workspace, you can always right-click anywhere on the ribbon and navigate to the Show Tabs option, and there are 2 tabs that you can turn on that relate to 3D modeling. You can toggle on 3D Tools and Visualize. Let's toggle on 3D Tools and Visualize, and let's see what we have available. In the 3D Tools workspace, there are some basic 3D modeling tools, and in the Visualize tab, there are some basic rendering tools. You do not have full access to all the 3D tools in AutoCAD, just the basic ones. In this course, however, we want access to all the 3D tools. So let's go ahead and click on the workspace switching icon and navigate to the 3D modeling workspace. There is a 3D Basics workspace, but again, we want access to the full suite of tools. Notice that when you access that workspace, you get a different set of tools in the Home tab. This is not to say that you don't have access to the standard AutoCAD commands like drawing a line, modify commands, etc. They are in this ribbon tab called the Home tab. Under the Modify panel, we have Move, we have Copy, we have Rotate and Scale, and of course in the Draw panel, we have Line, Arcs, and so on. But you'll also notice that there's a 3D Polyline tool because you may need that tool when you're doing any kind of 3D modeling. Now that we have this workspace active, let's go ahead and verify that we have the Properties palette open. If you do not have the Properties palette open, navigate to the View tab, Palettes panel, and toggle on Properties. You can also turn on any of the other palette configurations that you want. Let's go ahead and do so. Let's toggle on the Tool palettes in case you want to access those. Now, let's go ahead and dock this by simply right-clicking on the title bar and choose Anchor Left. We now have those 2 palettes available to us when we want to access them. Let's turn off the File tabs as well, as we want to increase the amount of drawing view that we have. While you're in the View tab, Interface panel, toggle off File tabs, and that's how you can increase your drawing view window. Now that we have the interface the way that we want it, let's go ahead and make a copy of the workspace. We'll navigate to the workspace switching icon and choose Save Current As. We'll call this one your initials dash 3D Tools and click Save. Now, if you ever make a mistake or somehow your workspace gets corrupt, you can always navigate to the default one and then do a Save As again. While we're here, let's talk about another setting that is important to know about regarding workspaces. Let's navigate to the Workspace Settings. Within the Workspace Settings dialog box, you can rearrange workspaces, you can toggle individual workspaces off, as well as adding separators if you want to. The one that's really important to understand is this one here that says when switching workspaces. By default, it's set to do not save changes to workspace. What this means is that when you make any changes to the workspace, like let's say you add a toolbar, remove a palette, add a palette, turn auto hide on, etc. If you have it set to do not save changes to workspace, when you exit AutoCAD and come back in, those changes will not be saved. It is recommended to definitely turn on automatically save workspace changes. That way, as you move a toolbar, as you add a ribbon tab, remove a ribbon tab, etc., it'll automatically save that change to that workspace. Note, you do not have to save your workspace. It automatically happens. Click OK, and now we have that set. Let's look at the 3D tools available. In the Home tab, just like in the Drafting Annotation workspace, it's the most commonly used tools. So you're going to have a modeling panel where you can do things like placing primitives, or any kind of extruding, and so on. Any kind of mesh modeling and solid editing. The default AutoCAD commands will also contain some tools for 3D arrays and so on. In the Modify panel, you'll have standard AutoCAD Move and Copy Rotate commands, but you'll also have the 3D Rotate command or the 3D Move command. The Section panel is there for sectioning and so on, as well as the coordinates and the View panel as well for changing your visual style and loading any kind of named views you may have. You will notice, of course, that the tabs are completely different compared to the drafting and annotation workspace. Notice how you have a solid tab, which contains all of the solid tools. You also have a surface tab, which contains all of the surface tools. Mesh tab, visualize tab, and then the rest of these are pretty much just standard AutoCAD functionality, like parametric constraints, which is just 2D parametric constraints. And then in the insert tab, you will notice it has the standard insert commands like blocks and references. However, there's an additional panel here for point clouds. Now, as far as the actual tools themselves, as just mentioned, the tools exist in the ribbon. However, if you are a person that likes to, let's say, type commands in, if you simply hover over any of the commands, you will notice the actual tooltip that appears, and the command is listed below. Let's say you wanted to actually place a box. You notice the command for that is box. So you could simply type in BOX, and of course, with the autocomplete, it comes up there automatically.